Hello and welcome, friends. We're starting off quietly today with some wool, some work, and some words. In a few minutes, we'll catch up with a chat by the fire, but I wanted to share some bits from the last few mornings. I've found myself in a bit of a routine with both my knitting and my other creative work. I've embarked on a few big projects this month, ones that have needed routine and some surrounding quiet to sustain. Thanks to evenings spent watching the Olympics and some new to us shows, my knitting has been more than fruitful this February. I've been able to spend some grounding moments during my workday, taking breaks from writing and editing to move the knitted items through the stages of blocking. In creating quiet around blocks of time to work, I've opened up space for ritual and routine. There are opportunities to remember what brings movement in and out of words, what aids in flow. Bringing thought, slowness, intentionality into my projects is shifting the way I feel and think about my workday. Yes, there are deadlines when the work is tied to or for others, and sometimes there are self-imposed ones. But when I take a breath, light a candle, take the urgency away, somehow it all still gets done. And oftentimes in ways that feel more nourished and in alignment than when I give false senses of urgency a front row seat at my desk. Sometimes it's as simple as putting a blocking app on my phone. I'm currently loving Focus Friend. I use it not only when I'm working, but when I'm reading or watching TV at the end of the day. I've been shocked at the amount of times I reach for my phone to check goodness knows what without thinking. Breaking that habit, focusing on one thing at a time with less distractions, even if it's just watching a show, has been a game changer. Remembering that, emergencies aside, I don't owe anyone immediate responses or constant access also helps. We live in a time where we've been conditioned to believe we need to respond immediately to everyone. Text messages, emails, DMs, we don't. We need to listen to ourselves. We need to be able to hear what our bodies and minds need. It feels like a reclaiming. But after over 4 decades of putting myself to the side in the name of everyone else, I'm done. At the very least, I'm allowed and deserve a breath, a pause, a moment. So do you. In those spaces, those pauses, urgency dissolves. And without a sense of urgency, possibilities show themselves. Creativity can flourish, all in the things that need space to marinate and get worked through, connect, and come together. I was reminded of that several times just in the last few days. The depths of creativity are wild, wonderful, and at our fingertips. Some seasons, we don't have the strength or bandwidth to create space. We're doing our best to get through every day, every moment. But trust me when I tell you that there will come a time when it's accessible. No one season lasts forever. And even when it's hard, I would still tell you that you deserve a breath, a pause, a moment. They're part of a practice that ebbs and flows for your whole life. You can always come back to the breath. I wish I could remember where I saw it or who shared it on Instagram, but someone was talking about being comforted that your breath is with you for as long as you're alive. It was someone famous and it's been shared all over the place. You've probably seen it, but it's worth repeating. It's worth an extra thought. Breath and seasons and work, blocking knitwear and writing words and living authentically, being true to ourselves and being there for our loved ones and listening to our needs. It's a lot, I know. But if we take it one breath at a time, pay attention to one small moment, like when we light a candle or make a cup of tea, there's an opportunity for awareness to multiply. Winter will turn to spring, and while the lessons shift and change from season to season, often they are more closely linked than given credit for. Pay attention. Be here now. Nothing lasts forever. Beauty abounds. Take a pause, friends. Take a breath. Give yourself a tiny bit of space and see what happens. Hello, friends. Thank you for indulging me in another slow voiceover video. I have been feeling that kind of energy. Darcy's here to say hello. You want to say hello? You want to come up and say hello? No, it snowed today again, so she's feeling very clingy, very concerned about snow on the roof. There's less than an inch up there, but it's still cause for concern. So yeah, I really loved taking video of the last 2 days, the mornings. It's hopefully, like I said more eloquently in the voiceover, it just felt really, really nice to lean into a slow routine that encompassed multiple sensory experiences. All right, I'll start over. So this month I've been doing a lot of work at my desk, a lot. And I shared in the Patreon exclusive video just a couple days ago that the work that I'm doing, I need quiet surrounding it. I'm working on my manuscript and it's going really well. I'm working on a manuscript consultation. I'm still doing some coaching sessions. And so I've needed to really protect my peace and my quiet around that time. And I can't be at my desk for like long periods of time. I need breaks. I need movement. I need again, those different sensory experiences. And so it's been fun to work on my knitting in the evenings. I've finished up a bunch of projects, three. And so having that necessary movement I want to block these items. So getting them in the water and then having some time at the desk and then taking them out of the water and blocking them. It was surprising to me how nice of a routine that's been this week. So thank you for letting me share that with you. I want to share a little more closely those finished projects. First, I did finish. I started and I finished the Magna Flora top. I wrote everything down. My Ravelry page should be mostly updated. This is the Magna Flora top by Alyssa Hartzell, and I knit it in Sandnes Garn Lena in Rose Lavender. I'm super pleased how this turned out. It is going to be such a gorgeous top for the spring, summer, just as I wanted it to be. I'm not going to lie, I started this on a Friday night as my reward for hitting my word count that week, and I finished it Wednesday, so less than a week. It's knit, I think, on size 9 needles. That information will be on my Ravelry, don't hold me to that. So I mean, it just knit up so quickly. The lace pattern was a delight to knit, and I'd kind of forgotten. No, that's not true. I hadn't forgotten. I really enjoyed working on the wrap that I also finished, the lace in that, and so I think I've just remembered through the wrap and through this and then through the hat that I also finished. Like, I just, sometimes lace knitting, it hits you just right. And there's like, it's meditative in the way that the patterns are written. You can really get into a groove with it, and it's engaging because there's yarn overs and knit two togethers and slip and knit and pass over. Like, it's just, it's a multi-sensor. Like, you're thinking about different things, you're feeling it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I've liked being engaged in projects fully, like fully immersive. So yeah, so this is first finished, and I love the detail on the bottom, on the hem. There's a little bit of lace before you start the ribbing, and I think that's just so sweet. So look forward to wearing this over dresses and with skirts. Oh, it's gonna be so fun. So, and then like you saw yesterday, I blocked my Rowan lace wrap that I was knitting along with a friend. I got together with her on Saturday and I cast off with her. She's still got a little ways to go, but it was nice to be together while I did the bind off. And yeah, it's absolutely lovely. I'm so glad that it dried all in one day so I could use it today at my desk. I even had to put on my cardigan. I was so cold in there this morning. So this is the Rowan lace wrap by Fox and Folk, and I knit it in Baracco Mercado in Lupin. And I think this, yeah, 5 skeins. I used 5 skeins, and I have just a little bit left over, and it's so long. I think blocked, it's taller than I am, like it's longer than I am, and it just feels so good. There's a woman, she runs Knititude, and she has a way of wrapping big shawls like this, big scarves, into like a hood. Oh geez, a hood and a wrap. I'll find it and I'll put it in the description below so you can see if you have one of these. I mean, she does it in such a way that it's like super stylish and together and like tucked in and secure. Secure is the word I'm looking for. So this was an absolute joy to knit, to block, and to wear. And I think that the video did a really good job of showing the difference in lace. I think you could see, especially with this one, how bumpy it was, the backside, how like little it looked to me. It looked like one of those foam mattress toppers with the egg crate things. And then it's all flat. And when I was blocking it, I didn't block it perfectly. I didn't pin it or anything because this is going to be a workhorse of a wrap. It doesn't need to be perfect. And you know, it came off of my blocking mats, and I just didn't want to fuss with having to put something else underneath, and it worked out perfectly, just perfectly. So I'm super happy with that. The hat is not completely dry. I would not put this on the floor because our Darcy likes to grab things like this sometimes. So I could put a whole big shawl down or a sweater down and she wouldn't touch it. But hats and mittens and socks she loves. But yeah, so this is the Willows Hat by Tiff Nealand. And I used one of my leftover skeins of Tanis Fiber Arts Pure Wash Worsted in Ostera, and it's the yarn that I used for my Nurtured sweater. So it took under a skein, which is incredible. And what I love about this one is the twisted rib. And so it's a little bit different than a regular rib. I like that detail. And because it was a small amount of the twisted rib, it did not bother my hands too much, which was really nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna let that dry. I did make another cup of tea. This is the hot cinnamon, the Harney and Sons hot cinnamon. Oof. I have been drinking so much tea, mostly decaffeinated or herbal tea, but man, it has been so cold. That's not entirely true. I mean, it's cold, but it's not as cold as it was in December and January, but it has felt chilly with the snowstorms and everything. Yeah, so February, I can't believe February is almost over. How are you all? If you're on the East Coast, how did you manage with that huge snowstorm, the blizzard from earlier this week? We made out okay. We only got, 3 to 5 inches, I think. Sorry, I think I've got fuzzies on my face because of all the wool, which is not a bad problem. Yeah, so because we're inland, we didn't get a lot of the snow at all. Finn, up at his college, because he's right on the water, he ended up with a foot of snow and blizzard conditions and everything. And folks that we know from where we used to live, same thing, just a ton of snow. And of course, if you were in New Jersey, New York, all of that area too, I was thinking of you all because it's a lot of snow and I mean, we're not quite at the end of winter, but I think most of us are ready for a shift and ready for a change. And that's kind of what I've been feeling this week. I've been able this month to get quiet in a lot of ways, which has allowed me to kind of notice where I think some things need to change. Not like, honestly, not work and not this or anything, but it's more of like, oh, my body is really talking to me very loudly about changes that it needs and wanting to be tended to. Last year, I had so much come up emotionally, and so I needed to do a lot of work in my mental health or with my mental health and around stories that I had, like old stories that didn't serve me and other people's stories that did not serve me at all. So I had to do a lot of work in that respect. And this year feels like the year that I really need to listen to my body. So I'm trying to think of some ways to make big changes in, like, how to make big changes in gentle ways. I think that's going to be my next video. That's what we'll start March off with, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, it's been a good month here. Like, it's been hard in some ways, but it's been a good month, and I feel really, I always hate to say this, I always hate to jinx myself, but I had some really positive things happen in my work life this week. This week in particular, that felt very affirming, and I'm just super grateful for it. I'm really grateful for it. And yesterday the sun came out and it was beautiful. Like, I could feel it. I could definitely feel a change in energy. It's just, I think I'm ready for it. I'm, still needing that quiet, but I can feel a change coming, and it's going to be welcome. So I think the trick is going to be staying present and not wishing for things to come too soon, and still being right here. And that's where digging into the sensory things, like digging into the wool, digging into blocking the things, and just really like being here, that's where it all comes into play. Feeling all warmed up from the inside out with my tea and the fire going. I've got a little bit more work to do today, so I think I'm gonna go back and do that. Yeah, so what's to come this week? I think Paige and I are actually going to go see Wuthering Heights tomorrow. I have not read the book. I know enough about it though to know that this adaptation is just that, an adaptation, and we're gonna take it at face value. But I'm really curious to see it. I feel like I want to be part of that pop culture conversation. I want to know what everyone's talking about. So once I finish up work for tomorrow, she and I are gonna head over to the movies. We haven't been on a movie date in a really long time, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then yeah, just being here. Just being here is so much more than enough these days, I think, and I hope you feel that too. So thank you for being here and spending some time with me today. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, what you're up to, what you're working on. I'd love to hear what you're enjoying. You know, I'd really love to hear what's bringing you some joy and lightness during this still pretty dark month. But yeah, what's helping you to remember that spring is coming? Seasons do change. Things are not as stagnant as we think they are. I'd love to hear. So until next time, probably next week, be well, friends. Take care of yourselves. Big, big hugs from me to you. And I will see you very, very soon. Cheers.